Alright, we just completed example 138. I just wanted to talk about something that's important because it comes up in classes all the time. The question here is, does it matter which way I do my claim? Because if I do my claim different from the way you do it, does that mean that my answer will be different? And to show this, I'm going to show the same problem that we just worked out, 138. I'm just going to show what it would look like if it was worked out with a different claim. So of course the claim that you use still has to convey the same idea. Remember, the idea was that the percentage of BPA, or not the percentage, but the concentration of BPA in the urine for people who ate fresh soup was far less than that for the group who ate the canned soup. So that's how I could word the claim. I could put it just like that, right? Fresh soup drinkers had less BPA in their urine than the canned group drinkers, right, on average. And so that would mean that this claim, because it has a less than symbol, becomes my HA, and the opposite idea would become HO, which is greater than or equal to. So that's that. Then we'd have the data, and we'd switch the order of the way we put the data. Before we did can and fresh, now we do fresh and can. That really wouldn't make much of a difference, right? Our test stat would then, because we have fresh and canned, it would go fresh and canned here, and then everything would follow suit accordingly. So the data for the fresh soup would go first, and then the canned soup. And when we're done, our test stat, you see, would be different in sign only. It would have the same absolute value, but its sign would be on the opposite side. And then if we looked at our critical value, because now it's a left tail test, right? That's a left tail test indication. We would draw a left tail. We'd still have the 5% alpha that we had before, all in that one tail. When we go to our table, we're looking at basically the same number. The degrees of freedom hasn't changed. The amount of alpha hasn't changed, except for the fact that it's on the left-hand side, so it becomes negative. And so that's our rejection region. Now clearly negative 32 is in the rejection region, so we come to the same overall conclusion that we reject HO and that we support HA. And once that's clear, then we say, of course, because the claim is the same as HA, we support the claim, so the sample data supports the claim. Now what is the claim saying? It's saying that, hey, look, there's less BPA in the fresh soup than the canned soup. And that's exactly what this same claim says, right? If you just picked it up and twisted it around, right, it would say the same thing. So the fact is that the overall conclusion to the procedure is exactly the same. Everything about the procedure is similar, except for its opposite in sign, right? So really, nothing really changes by doing the claim in an opposite way from the way I do it. So that should clear up any concern you have about, oh, gee, is it right if I do it in a different way? It is right. You just have to learn to recognize that if you chose a claim that is, sort of turned around from my claim, that everything you should have in your problem, like your test stat, should have the opposite sign as my test stat. Your critical value should have the opposite sign of my critical value. But in the end, the final conclusion is consistent. So just remember that it doesn't matter, but you will have some things that are slightly different, mainly the sign of the values that you have. And instead of running a right tail test, you might run a left tail test, or vice versa.